Everybody receive a copy of last month's meeting minutes? If so, I'll entertain a motion for approval, please. Second? Thank you, gentlemen. Any discussion on last month's meeting minutes? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report. Reggie?
The paperwork is right here.
We continue to be in pretty good shape. No real change in our net assets from last month. We have only one bill for payment to bring to you this month for approval. Executive order reports is coming as a second motion. It's $1,349 to layer it over the course books.
Second motion to approve paying bills for Laredale. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
The only thing else to report is Carol Houseman from Martin & Company, our certified public accounting firm, will be here next meeting, which is March 28th, to give us our annual report for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2010.
Questions for Rich? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Under correspondence, in addition to the 3 items listed here from the Department of Health, we also received a letter from Cambridge Valley Rescue Squad regarding their clarification of operating authority. Copies on file for anyone interested. We have also 2 disciplinary actions that need to be read into the record. Thomas Andryshak from Florida, New York, EMT number 360705. Has had his certification suspended for 1 year effective February 8th, 2011. The suspension is stayed for violations of Part 800.16D. And Edwin Ortiz of Staten Island, EMT number 176499, has had his certification suspended for 3 years effective January 10th, 2011. All but 30 days of the suspension is stayed. The on-state suspension of 30 days is deemed to have been served concurrently with his actual suspension from the Fire Department of the City of New York. In addition, he has been placed on probation for 3 years effective January 10th, 2011, and assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of Part 800.16D. There's a number of course applications here which we are not required to read into the record, but it will bring your attention to. In addition, this evening we have 3 individuals excused: P.J. Keeler, Kathleen Allen, and Skip Nearney. We have a correspondence from the Schenectady County Emergency Medical Services Committee. Dear Mr. Rinaldi, please accept this letter as our appointments of the following people to the Regional Emergency Medical Organization for the next year. That would be the calendar year 2011. Dale Lingenfelter from Niskuna Fire Department is the chief. If you don't know Dale, he's right here. We welcome you aboard. Jim Vina, of course, who has been with us for a while, and then as an alternate, Anthony Caligieri from the Scotia Fire Department. We don't need to vote on that. It's within their individual authority to make those appointments. I'm just reading them into the record for awareness. A copy of this letter will be given to Judith to become part of the membership committee minutes. Under the report of committees, nothing significant was discussed upstairs. All items certainly will be brought up here in other committees. The most significant item of which was the point that Rich mentioned, which was that Marvin & Company will be here next month to present the results of the financial statement audit. Last year we had that done upstairs at the executive board to save Carol coming down to do it twice. There was some feedback from a number of parties that they wished that happened at the full council, so that's where she'll present that next month. Please try to be here. Next month we'll also have some other activity that you'll hear about from the CON committee, so we should have a pretty full agenda. With that, unless you have questions for the executive committee, we'll move directly to Evan's report of the CON committee. Actually, real quickly, I should have mentioned, I did adjust the order of the report of committees to try to consolidate items and make it a little more logical in terms of how we've been handling the meeting flow. Evan?
Okay, I think everyone has a copy of the executive director's report, and Tim, not to take away from you. You did summarize the activity of the CON committee very well. The Hoosick Valley Rescue Squad clarification was approved. Hope's Corners ambulance clarification was approved. This is by DOH now. Colpate/Clawson route clarification was approved. Hilderberg ambulance clarification was approved. So of all the clarification territories we had, I don't think we have any pending right now at this point. Cambridge Valley Rescue Squad is tentatively scheduled for revote on September 28/11. The reason for that is, after we took action at our last month's meeting, the Department of Health found that there were problems with the fitness and competency. 3 of the 5 principals failed the F&C. They were barred. So right now, those particular issues are being addressed between Cambridge Valley and the Department of Health. And if they are clarified and approved, then we'll be looking at a revote on that particular section of it. And that's all I have from the CON committee.
Questions for Evan? Sure. I've brought the medical advisory committee, the medical director's report, and the academic committee all together, and to be so called the Dr. Daly Hour. Hi, Doctor.
Thank you. After an introduction like that, I feel like I should ramble on for a while, so I will. From the academic committee, we're currently revisiting the idea of recertification, re-credentialing each year. That's going to be an interesting discussion to take place this week, 1 o'clock on Wednesday. There have been some very interesting ideas that have been floating around on email. We'll look forward to seeing how that all plays out on Wednesday. From the MAC, we've spent an awful lot of time, as you know, working on protocols. They have now passed the 3 regional medical advisory committees are on their way to the state. That will be my entertainment at the end of March. We'll be presenting them there. And I will let you know at the beginning of April, or at the end of, yes, I will let you know at the March meeting whether or not we have been successful. The other thing that I am doing with Dr. Bosco is putting together a campaign to ask the hospitals within the 3 regions to each cough up a little money to help us print out protocol books and hand 1 protocol book to every single EMS provider, BLS and ALS provider that works on either an ALS service or a BLS ambulance within the region. We're looking probably at somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 books. We're getting numbers currently. Been doing a lot of research on that. I've got a couple of dealers out as well. Hopefully this will be very successful. We're looking to produce something that would be in good fit in people's pockets, does not require independent operation of laminating machines in firehouses or at Staples to try to get this done. Would be a professional looking document for the ultimate service law. Keep everybody posted on that. The MAC would do an emergency vote. For those of you that have been following the newspaper, the town of Corinth has had a significant problem between their basic life support ambulance and their town paramedics. There are 3 or possibly 4 different sides to the stories that have been reported in the paper. One way or the other, it was a conflagration that has led to a collapse of what was currently their EMS system. There is a new ambulance service up there. It's the Jessup's Landing ambulance that is being operated by the town of Corinth. And the MAC voted to allow them to operate at an ALS level through email vote. That happened last week. And one other piece of information for anybody that uses King Airways, please seek out information from your supplier of those things. There are 2 different independent recalls of some of these devices. One because of failure of the plastic that's in them. And that was 1 lot from December. And the other is lack of sterility to some of the lubrication fluid. So take a look. academic, MAC, and medical records report.
Sir. Any questions for Dr. Dale? Thank you, Doctor. Move then to the Executive Director's report. Tim?
Everybody should have a copy, hopefully, of the report. Most of the stuff has been discussed. Lots of training up top, as you can see. Our nighttime EMT class has proven to be very successful, in excess of 30 students. That's underway tonight upstairs. The other thing that's noteworthy is on the bottom there, we finally nailed down regional reciprocal agreements with our surrounding REMACs. So if paramedics cross some type of jurisdictional line, they can continue to operate under their protocols. Took about 6 or 8 months of work with the surrounding agencies or the surrounding regions to do that, but we are current and DOH is happy with us in respect to that. That's basically it, unless anybody has a question for me.
Questions for Tim? Thank you, Tim. EMS Council, Rich?
No report at this point. We meet again on March 29th and March 30th. There are 3 meetings a year due to budget constraint.
Any questions for Rich? Nurses Committee, Anne Marie?
We don't have any report. We meet in February. We decided to meet every other month. We meet in March.
Questions for Anne Marie? Does the Nurses Committee have a copy of the draft protocol?
The hospital's each gotten one. I don't know if the nurse can receive one or not. You can certainly correct that.
MCI Committee? Anyone reporting?
You did not meet.
Okay. Membership Committee? Okay. Thank you. Under Membership Committee, I probably should have given these to you before, but I erred in not doing so. I do have 2 other appointments here, and I should have read the correspondence. One of them is your reappointment. Is that a term that was up that we need to vote on?
Mine was, yes.
Okay,
We voted on it last month.
we did. This is an old letter?
That's it.
Okay, and did we also vote on Patty as well? Okay, thank you. I also have a letter here, which we're gonna do new business, but I'd like to do now, which is from Lynn Kane regarding the appointment of Debbie Lemertz as her alternate. Any questions on that particular appointment? I don't think we need to vote on the appointment of the alternates, so, okay. I'm satisfied reading those into the record. QI Committee. Jim?
We did not meet. We got the, I guess, a school snow day is the best way to describe it. Kansas.
Okay. Any questions for Jim or for Phyllis? No, we're moving right along and Kevin isn't here. I'll make sure that's in the minutes though. County reports, Albany County. Jim?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Columbia County. Where's Mary?
Mary's not.
Actually, I've got a quick.
Anybody reporting for Columbia?
There's no report.
Okay, thank you. Greene County, Dave.
So as I mentioned at the last meeting, we have a new county coordinator, and she is here with us tonight, Ms. Patricia McEnany. She's also an alternate
Great.
function in that category tonight. And also, our council has a new chair, Aiden Connor, and Phyllis here is the vice chair. What? No, they leave, so that was the other one. But he is the vice chair.
Any
That's all
questions?
I have.
Any questions for Dave? Rensselaer County, Evan.
Nothing major to report. We do have several forces going on at this time. They've been going for a little while. I would like to say that one of our volunteer agencies hired a professional group, Eastern Ontario Emergency Services. Their Chief Executive Officer, Alan Rudy, that happens to be here tonight, I guess just to sit in and see how the council operates. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Evan? Thank you, sir. Anybody reporting on for Saratoga County? Let the record reflect on the reports. Schenectady County, Jim.
We started bouncing around ideas on how to do a community push for the new CPR that's coming out, or that is out. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that yet, but we started some preliminary talks on that and try and do something in the fall, maybe when the kids go back to school and do a real good push for that. The only other thing is Schenectady County Community College is no longer a teleconferencing site for all the med CMEs. We don't know why, there's no reason, we just locked the door and said we're not doing it anymore. And that's it.
Thank you. Questions for Jim? Okay. Under new business, informational item A, Cambridge Valley Rescue Squad application for expansion of operating authority. Vote is scheduled for March 28th, the next regional meeting at 7 o'clock. We've already talked about item B. Office space and relocation options. One of the things that has come up over time for discussion is the fact that it's unclear the long-term intent of the town of Colony with respect to this particular building. As you know, the commercial real estate market has been I think that it could be for a while. We've had some discussions about an informal and casual process of looking for potentially another location that will meet the needs that we have for both training, meeting space, and office space. Obviously, everyone represented on the council is in a different community who has probably lots of connections and ideas. If you see a building, you see a space that you think might accommodate Remo, that we should consider as part of an analysis to determine our space needs as part of long-term planning, get that information to Tim. We just want to be prepared in the event the town of Colony makes a change in their approach, that we have, if you will, a contingency plan to accommodate the space that we need to continue operating as the regional emergency medical organization.
Is there anything new, Steve or Tim? This drum has rumbled for many years. Just wondering if there's any new information we should know about?
Nothing.
Town's plans for the
No, I haven't heard anything from the town, Rich, but I did approach them about 6 months ago relative to renting additional space upstairs that was vacated by BOCES. That went all the way through the town up to the legal department, and then they just stopped corresponding with me. I found that rather curious. So I actually talked to the folks downstairs in the office last week. I'm actually going to contact Mrs. Mahan and see, you know, if there's anything we could do with that space. But for the last year or so, we've had a relatively passive search for additional space or alternate space out there. And we're just going to continue that. And I just asked the council, like Steve said, if you see something, if you have a recommendation for us, let us know and we'll gladly look into it. So, you know, you try pulling out of here 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day, and my hair wasn't this gray when I first started here. So.
How many square feet?
How many are we talking upstairs? Give or take 1,200, 1,200, 1,400, maybe. But I would actually look for maybe some additional space, a nice meeting room / training room, or maybe some additional training space as well. So a couple thousand square feet, maybe.
Would you be able to do a couple line spec that just lays out, you know, dedicated office space, facilities needed?
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
assume conference space would be some is shared, some is dedicated, because that might be helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, any impact or feedback that the council have, I think would be valuable. I mean, obviously, we're trying to find a location that's somewhat geographically centralized, so that the majority of our stakeholders have a reasonable commute here, although you're looking around the table, that some folks have to come from a lot farther than others. But they were certainly not married to any particular space. So if you just want to give that some thought, to Tim, that would be great. Item C and F under new business were struck from the agenda prior to the meeting. Leaves us with item E, which is just informational. I do have the Town of Corinth operating certificate up here. If you've been keeping up with what's happening there in the news, you may want to come up and look at it. It looks just like all the ones that you guys have. But it was nice that that's done. I also didn't neglect it. I wanted to read this one item. We did receive a certificate of appreciation in recognition of our continued support of the Remsco County Ambulance and Rescue Association. Was issued on January 21st, and I think it's important just to note that we did receive this, and grateful to have received this from Remsco County Ambulance, so thank you.
Steve, one question on the Colony Village Fire Company. What, was that BLSFR or ALSFR?
BLS.
BLS, okay, thank you.
Any items from the floor? Motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor? Thank you, sir.